Hey everybody, this is the Chevy Silverado High Country. It's a luxury truck, so no, in this video we're not going off-road. I want to talk about what's underneath the hood. Take a listen. Yes, that is the 3-liter inline-6 Duramax diesel, which Chevrolet just released for its half-ton trucks. Now in this video, I'm going to tell you all about this diesel, but I want to talk about diesels in off-roading. Are diesels actually any good at off-roading, or do they just have too many drawbacks? So we'll talk about what is available, and then at the end of this video, I'll tell you which one I prefer for going off-road, gas or diesel. Let's do it. So here it is, the new inline-6 from General Motors. Now, this engine has a displacement of exactly 3 liters, and actually the fact that it's inline-6, that makes it unique in the segment. The other two half-ton diesels are both V6s. So what's the power? This thing makes 460 pound-feet of torque at just 1,500 RPM, and then it also cranks out 277 horsepower. Of course, torque is the big deal with this engine, but so is efficiency. If you get the right package, you can actually get up to 33 miles per gallon on the highway from the EPA for this 3-liter. The fuel economy here is impressive, but honestly, it's all of that torque that's delivered down low in the rev range that's going to help you off-road. So let's go for a drive and talk more about how the power actually feels. Now we're here with the 3-liter, so I'm going to put my foot into it. And it does deliver tons of super silky smooth low-end power. Now, of course, that's helped by the 10-speed automatic that it's paired with, but it says the power comes on at 1,500 RPM, and it absolutely feels like it. So let's talk a little bit more about diesels and off-road. And first, let me scold Chevrolet a little bit. Chevy, you just brought out the brand new Tahoe Z71. It actually looks like a pretty legit off-roader for the first time. Z71 has definitely gone a step beyond where it used to be on those SUVs. So how come I can't get this diesel with a Z71? That decision doesn't make a lot of sense to me. However, I guess if you do look at the whole lineup, it does make sense. Let me explain. You can get a GMC Sierra AT4 with the diesel, but you cannot get a Silverado Trail Boss with the diesel. So once again, GM is doing its differentiate the brand things. It wants GMC to have some unique features to draw people over from Chevy. So we don't know this for a fact yet, but wait until the GMC Yukon is unveiled to hopefully have an off-road version of a GMC SUV with a diesel. So all of that low-end torque is definitely one of the reasons why you'd want a diesel off-road for crawling anyways. If you're going over slow-speed obstacles looking for torque to really bring you up and over rocks nice and slowly and controlled, a diesel is a great way to go. And that was reinforced to me on our recent trip to Moab. So we took a Ram Power Wagon, of course with the 6.4-liter Hemi gas engine, and then also a GMC Sierra AT4 2500 with the big 6.6 Duramax in it. And honestly, out on that trail, you could basically let the GMC idle. You didn't have to touch the throttle all that much because we weren't really going over huge obstacles. So going over small little divots, bumps, and ditches, you could just let the truck idle. The low-end power there was just amazing. Whereas the Power Wagon, you're digging your foot in deeper, and that makes it a little bit harder to have a controlled ride when you're off-road. Having that big diesel just made things so calm and controlled on the trail. To be fair though, in the power department there is an equalizer. It's called low-end gearing. Even a gas engine can put out big power numbers at really low wheel speeds if the T-case is set up properly. Speaking of the Power Wagon, that has to be one of the most famous examples of an off-road truck where the manufacturer does not offer the diesel, even though people have been asking for it. There's still no diesel in the Power Wagon, and Ram has given us a couple reasons. Maybe the biggest one is they say they'd have to get rid of the winch for the intercooler that the diesel would need, and the winch is one of the most important things on that truck, or sort of one of the hallmarks of that truck. Sure, I kind of buy that. I'm sure it would also be expensive to develop develop, and I bet they're not sure if anyone's going to buy it. That's probably also part of the decision. And then Ram has also cited weight, you know, all the front end weight of adding the Cummins to the 2500 Power Wagon would just take away from some of its off-road ability. So far, Ram has stuck to its guns, but we'll have to see now with the Tremor and the AT4 both offering diesels. Well, the Power Wagon could follow suit. Another big difference, of course, the way it sounds. Well, this 3-liter right here in the Chevy, it's pretty subdued actually. So if you do want a loud barking engine, you're probably gonna want to get a gasser, but I do like the way this diesel sounds. Here, take a listen to it at full throttle acceleration. Weight is another big consideration when you're comparing gas versus diesel. Diesel engines are always heavier. Depends on which trucks, of course, but for example, recently we were in Moab, Utah. Between those two big heavy duties was about 500 pounds. The GM was 500 pounds heavier than the Ram. And here's the thing with the weight of a diesel. All the weight is right here. It's all front end weight. And you could really feel that out on the trail. The GMC, when you're coming up and over obstacles and then, you know, coming up and over whoops and crashing back down, it just really hits the ground hard compared to the Power Wagon, which sure, it's not a huge difference, but not having that front end weight, the front end of the Power Wagon wasn't crashing down over obstacles. It felt much more controlled, much more steady. So having all that weight right over your front axle when you're off-road is rarely a good thing. Now, when it comes to high speed in diesels, yeah, generally they don't really go well together, but it does honestly just depend on what diesel you're buying. Most diesels you're gonna get in pickup trucks, well, they are focused on hard work. But I mean, if you look at some of the insane diesels of the world, say the massive engines that power the Kamaz race trucks that are once again about to take on the Dakar Rally, those things are making over 800 horsepower, nearly 2,000 pound-feet of torque, and those insanely heavy trucks go over 100 miles per hour through the desert. So, you know what, diesels can also be set up to make sure that top speed isn't an issue. That being said, though, the diesels that we're buying in these trucks, they are not Kamaz race trucks. So yes, it is true that any diesel sort of available to consumers is going to prioritize that low-end torque and efficiency over that top-end power. A great truck that demonstrates the differences is the Chevy Colorado ZR2. Now, you can get that truck with either the small baby Duramax or with the 3.6-liter V6. Now, I've driven both extensively, and most of the stereotypes are true. Yes, the diesel does give you some pretty good low-end torque, where that V6 gas engine, it makes peak power high in the RPM range, so you're really ringing it out. However, if you put them in a drag race, I'm sure the gas engine is going to win. It has over 300 horsepower. That really separates it from the diesel. And if I had to choose between the diesel or the gas in the Colorado ZR2, I would definitely get the gas engine. In that truck, you just want to have an engine that has more top-end power. When you're moving at speed, you can dip in and get more power. The diesel just doesn't deliver that lively, excitable nature that makes that truck so fun. You have to get the gas, and in general around the industry, I would say that is true. If you prioritize top speed and sort of a really revvy engine that's controllable, you're going to want to get a gasser. You cannot compare gas and diesel without comparing the price, and diesel is definitely always going to be more expensive. So here in this high country, for this diesel engine, you're talking about just a little under $2,500. But if you get a Silverado LT, that's the lowest trim level that the diesel is available, it's a nearly $7,000 option. And that high pricing is much more normal for trucks, because if we're talking about heavy duty trucks, in the Sierra 2500 AT4, it's nearly a $10,000 option, and same goes for the Ford Super Duty. So opting for the diesel is always going to cost you more, and depending on where you live, it might also cost you more at the pump. So just like with the ZR2, overall, diesel or gas for off-road? Well, let me first say that I really like this 3-liter Duramax. It's quiet, smooth, powerful, and extremely efficient. However, I still wouldn't get it for an off-roader. I prefer gas for off-roading. I think gas engines are better for off-roading. Again, they're just more exciting, more lively. They do all the things I want, a little bit lighter. In my opinion, gas and off-road are made for each other. Diesel, not quite as much. But now I want to hear what you guys think. Maybe you think I'm dead wrong. Well, let me know down in the comments right now. So while the torque of a diesel is undeniable, yes, I have to say it, I think I would have to go for the gas engine every single time because I love going fast, and that's definitely what gas engines generally are better set up to do. So guys, that's it for this one. Make sure you go below, hit like, hit subscribe, and then come right back to the channel because we're going to keep on bringing you the latest news, views, and diesel off-road reviews. See ya.